Welcome back to Higher Self Mastery. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm going to talk to you today about it's not personal, it's spiritual. That was a beautiful message that I received one time in an ayahuasca experience, an ayahuasca ceremony, where the plant was showing me that all things are happening for you. And it's never truly personal. The way someone reacts to you, even the way that someone treats you or perceives you, in truth, it has nothing to do with you. You see, we're going to go really deep here into this episode. But the truth is, there's only you. There's only you. Everything in your life is a reflection of you. The beauty you see in something or someone is the beauty within you. The negative aspect you see of someone in someone else is an aspect of you. If you want to really know your shadow, tell me everything you hate about everyone else, and I'll know who your shadow is. You see, the Course in Miracles, which is a very sacred text that I've been a teacher of for many years, there are several aspects to the Course that are just absolute truth. And you know that it's truth because you may not understand it, but when you hear it, it's like something inside of you just knows. It just resonates with it. And that's how you know it's true for you. Now, not everyone is ready for the truth. Some people are at a stage in their evolution where they can't take radical accountability, as I call it. You see, to own all of your projections, that takes humility. That takes maturity. That takes a great deal of spirituality to be able to say, I see it because I am it. And so many people are in resistance to that. Many people want to continue to blame. And the reason why they blame is because they want to be the victim. They want to remain the victim. Why? Because being a victim has a payoff. If you're a victim, you don't take accountability, you don't take responsibility, you don't create any change because you're powerless. And that's really what a victim is. All suffering comes from the strange belief that you are powerless. So if you are powerless, meaning there is someone or something doing something to you, and you're powerless to it, then you're a victim to it. And if you have no power and you're a victim, then you can't do anything about it. And this is also the attraction to guilt and the attraction to wanting to make yourself look more innocent by saying, look what's happening to me. Look who is doing this to me or what's happening to me. And look how innocent I am and how much of a victim I am. And so it's also a way that we seek to be seen as good. But you don't need to be a victim to be seen as good. And you don't need to give your power away or to be powerless in order to feel safe. Believe it or not, it's for a sense of safety. Because it's safer to stay in your dysfunction or in your chaos or in your environment that you've created because it's familiar. And so sometimes we choose dysfunction just because it's familiar. And so back to what I was saying about the teaching in the Course in Miracles, it says basically that what you see in another, you can only see it because you see it within yourself, because on some level it exists within yourself. The exact line in the text goes something like, you hate it because you share in it. And the pity and the compassion that you can offer your brother or your sister that would set them free, that you refuse to give, would set you free as well. But as long as you continue to judge and you continue to condemn, you judge and condemn yourself. Because the truth is, there is no other. And what you're doing is condemning and judging the aspect of yourself that you're projecting out. The belief is that, or the concept is, that you can't give something that you don't already have. And so the world of duality is governed on the scarcity principle, which is I lack, which all human suffering, besides the belief in powerlessness, comes from the belief in lack. I am lacking money, time, love, whatever it is, and therefore I have this problem. I am lacking respect. I am lacking friendship. I am lacking beauty. I am lacking whatever it is you perceive yourself to be lacking. And then there comes the challenge. But if you perceive no lack, you have no problems. And I want you to practice that for a moment. Just for a moment, feel what it's like to have everything that you need, everything that you want, to be totally whole and totally complete. And in that moment, in this moment of wholeness, do you have any problems? So then all of our problems come from perceived lack. This is why one of the mantras that I give my clients is, I lack nothing. Therefore, I have no problems. And so because the world of duality is governed on the scarcity principle of lack, it believes that if it gives something, it's losing it. This is why it holds on to all of its possessions, its ideas, its money, all of what it perceives to be valuable. It holds on to it. It doesn't want to give it away. It doesn't want to share it. And so the reason why this is because the egoic self was constructed on lack. The egoic self is the part of you that believes in lack. So it clings, it attaches, and it doesn't want to let go of anything. But now the higher self, the spirit, the part of you that is non-duality, knows that it is perfectly whole, perfectly complete, and it has it all. And so what spirit does, or what this higher knowledge understands, is that it cannot give something that it doesn't already have. So for example, I cannot give you a $5 bill if I do not have a $5 bill, right? I have to have it to give it to you. I cannot give you love if I do not have love. I have to have it. Well, I cannot give you condemnation. I cannot give you judgment. I cannot give you what I am perceiving you as unless I have it, unless it's within me, within my consciousness, part of my energetic imprint. And so remember that the ego doesn't want to give what it perceives to be valuable because it believes in the scarcity principle that it will lose what it gives, right? If I just gave you a $5 bill, then I lost it. But spirit or higher self, higher wisdom, higher knowledge knows it can't let go of anything because it is. And so if I give you something, I strengthen it within myself. If I see you as sacred, I strengthen my perception of myself as sacred. If I see you as innocent, if I see you as kind, I strengthen that perception within myself. It increases. Okay? But remember that the ego only doesn't want to let go of what it perceives to be valuable. If it perceives that being arrogant is not valuable, being a gossip is not valuable, being unattractive, being combative, confrontational, whatever it is that the egoic self doesn't want to identify as because it believes that it's bad, guess what it will do to that? Because it's not valuable, it will try to give it away. It believes that it will get rid of it by letting go of it, by giving it to another person. And so it gives it to another person. Are you following here? But remember that in truth, what I give to you, what I see in you, I only affirm within myself. So if you want to know your shadow, look to see everything your ego is trying to get rid of. So in my case, let me see. Because, I like to make it really practical and I'm very vulnerable with my own experience. So let me look to some things that are triggering me right now. My son is a strong-willed 4-year-old and he doesn't listen to anything I say. And I've been basically saying that he is combative and that he's difficult and that he has very high needs and expectations. Also, I get very triggered by people that I feel are not very aware of the way others feel. People that are insensitive. People that are, I'm trying to do live shadow work with you guys right here with me, so bear with me. Trying to peel back the layers of my consciousness. Let me think of someone that I have issues with. I see them as judgmental. I see them as selfish. Okay. And so say hello to my shadow. You can make a list if you want of the things that you don't like about other people, the things that really trigger you, and that's your shadow. Those are the parts of you that you deny, you resist, or you might be in complete oblivion to because you just push it out of your consciousness that much. But it's the same thing also with, for example, every light in the world of duality has a shadow, correct? And so look at the things you love about yourself the most. I love how open I am, how loving I am, how kind I am, how wise I am. Those are the favorite things about myself. But for that light to exist, there is a shadow to that light. So that means that I could also be very introverted. I could also be very closed. I can also withdraw. I can also be harsh. I can also be critical. I can also be childish, right? If I'm wise, I also have moments of immaturity, right? And so those things, like even saying them out loud, I'm like, oh God, I don't want people to think that about me. So the things that you don't want people to think about you are the things that you don't want you to think about you. So you push it out, you project it out. And so the path to healing is to just acknowledge, oh, and this takes so much humility, guys. Oh, it's within me. And maybe not to the same extent, because the way that it works is that someone will reveal to you an aspect of yourself at a much stronger degree so that you can become aware that it's within you. Do you understand? So I'll give you an example of this. I knew someone that's very gossipy. They are very judgmental, and they're always judging other people and criticizing and talking badly about other people. And this person would come and do it with me. And so I always took pride within myself that I don't talk badly about other people. I have a lot of compassion for other people, and I understand everyone's doing the best that they can. And growing up, my mom always said, if someone is not in the room, don't talk about them. Because you don't know what you're hearing about them, if it's actually true, because that person's not there to defend themselves. So if anyone ever comes to talk to you about someone else, stop listening and just tell them, I prefer not to engage in this conversation. I prefer the person would be here if we're going to talk about this. And so that's wonderful. Like, that's an amazing value that my mother instilled in me from a very young age. And so I was always like that. I took pride in not speaking badly about others and not speaking behind anyone's back and not being inauthentic. And so this person would really trigger me a lot. Okay. And so I would go, because I couldn't really escape this person. I don't want to give too many details, but I couldn't really escape this person, okay? And so I would just be aware of my breath and just try to stay as present as possible when they would talk. But sometimes I would just say, I just prefer not to talk about that, or I would excuse myself and just say, like, I have to go to the restroom or whatever. And so I didn't want to judge this person, but I couldn't help but see them as fake and a hypocrite and untrustworthy, and just really triggered that they're probably talking about me the same way they're talking about their friend. So just like very triggered by this. And so I would go to my husband and I would tell my husband about it. Like, this person is like talking to me about this, this, and this. And can you believe that they're like this? And like, they can't be trusted. They're probably saying the same thing about me. And it was in this moment that I realized, oh my God, I'm gossiping about them, gossiping about other people. I mean, yeah, technically my husband, it's like, I'm not gossiping to him. It would be like, you have to really look at it. But it's like, I am going to someone else outside of myself to basically judge someone else and to talk badly about someone else, which is basically the same thing this person was doing. And so I had to be very honest with myself and be like, oh my God, this exists within myself. Maybe not to the same degree, but I'm critical. I'm judgmental, and I'm speaking badly about someone else to someone else. This is within me. And then that's when you say, thank you for showing me this, to the person. Thank you for showing me this. And you could take back, take accountability for the reflection, for the projection, and you just repeat, the Ho'oponopono prayer. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And you're not necessarily doing this to the person that you judged. You're doing this to the part of yourself that you judge. You're saying this to the part of yourself that is this energy, that is this frequency. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. It's like you're forgiving yourself for having those codes, for having that frequency as part of your own being. And that's the work. And so I know we kind of went into shadow work here, but besides loving the shadow, forgiving the shadow, everyone wants to know, how do I heal? Love. Love is the medicine. You can't judge yourself. You have to love the one within you that's critical. Love the one within you that's judgmental. Love the one within you that gossips. Love the one within you that's combative, that's difficult, that's arrogant, that's withdrawn. Love the one within and forgive them, for they know not what they do. Forgive them, for they are unconscious. Just as unconscious as the people that you probably copied all of that from. So you offer yourself grace. And you offer your brother and your sister, whether it's your actual sister, your mother, your son, your friend, your spouse, you offer them the same compassion and the same grace. This doesn't mean not to hold people accountable. Always hold people accountable, because that's love. Love doesn't enable. But you can also understand that everyone is simply showing you an aspect of yourself that either you love or needs healing. I mean, you love them both, but that is either evolved, a conscious aspect of yourself, or an unconscious aspect of yourself. And so I ask you, who are the people in your life that are showing you unconscious aspects of yourself? What are they showing you about yourself? What experiences, what life challenges are you going through right now that are showing you unconscious aspects of yourself? Remember that we are here to learn to love. And many times we say that we love, but it's really hate. It's really control. It's really attachment. It's really possessiveness, which is the absolute opposite of love, because love is free. And so, are you being invited to learn how to love? How to love another? And ultimately, how to love yourself? Because the way you treat another is simply a reflection of the way you treat yourself. The way you speak about another is simply a reflection of the way you speak about yourself. The way you think about others is simply a reflection of the way you think about yourself. And so I invite you to take radical accountability for your projections and your reflections. And I invite you to understand that that is why it's never personal, it's deeply spiritual. Thank the angels in disguise that are showing you aspects of yourself that need healing. Thank the people in your life that are showing you your own unconsciousness, revealing it to you so that you can make it conscious, so that you could evolve, so that you can heal. Thank the people that are playing their parts perfectly. They are sent to you by you. Do you understand that? They are sent to you by you. They are divinity in disguise, training you into your power, teaching you the lessons of love, teaching you how to love yourself, and how to free yourself from your own traps, ego traps, attachments, judgments. I remember one time I was playing with my son in the park, and there was this skate park, and it had a gate, and he wanted to play jail. So he would come inside the gate and close the door, and I would have to stand outside of the gate and guard the door. And if he would escape, then I would chase after him and bring him back to jail. And I received an insight in that moment that that's exactly what judgment or condemnation or unforgiveness really is. It's you putting someone in jail, basically, in the condemnation jail, in the wrong, right? You are wrong, you are bad jail. But in order for them to stay there, you need to stay at the door and make sure they stay. And so who's in jail? Is it them or is it you? Because as long as you've got someone in that condemnation jail and that they're doing wrong jail and the they're wrong jail, and that unforgiveness, in that investment, in that story, you need to stay at the door. And so you are imprisoned right along with them. And in truth, they're only imprisoned in your consciousness. You're the one shackled. And that was very deep. And I realized, I understand why Jesus taught forgiveness. Forgiveness really is the path to liberation. And it's not forgiveness as far as you did something wrong and so I forgive you in that sense. Forgiveness, which is atonement in the Course in Miracles, when I prayed on this and I wanted understanding and clarity on what forgiveness really meant, I received that forgiveness is just letting go of the investment in the story. See, the truth is no one can ever fail you. There's really nothing to forgive. No one can ever really fail you. They could only fail the function that you assign them. The function of mother, father, son, daughter, sister, brother, husband, wife, friend. They could only fail to meet all of the expectations and demands that you placed on that label that you gave them. But if you remove the label of mother, of father, of son, of daughter, of friend, of husband, of wife, if you remove that label, there's just a person. And underneath the person, there's a child. And underneath the child, there's a wounded child. And beneath that, there's a being, there's a soul that is on their path of evolution, just like you, on their journey. So if you free them from the role, from the label, from the function, from what you think they should have done, shouldn't have done, should be doing, shouldn't be doing, if you free them from that, you free them. And in truth, then what happens? You free yourself from the investment in that story, from being a character in that story, from being the victim in that story, from standing by the jail door, so to speak. And then you're free. And that's what forgiveness really is all about. And so I know we kind of went into shadow work here and forgiveness and the scarcity principle and all these different things. But if you get anything from this podcast, this is one of my most sacred teachings. If you get anything from this podcast, I hope that you get this. It's never personal. It's always spiritual. It's always a gift. And all things happen for good. Only the ego judges it as not good. But the spirit knows, the higher self knows, that it's all working together for the highest good, for the healing of your mind, for your personal evolution, for your ascension process. So I hope that you enjoyed this session, this episode. I hope to see you inside of Mastery, my monthly group coaching membership. You can click the link below for more information. And I thank you for being here with me. God bless you.